That is sensational. Now that is what I call, it looks like a pot pie, chicken pot pie bread pudding. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we're doing a chicken pot pie bread pudding. This came in as a request. Somebody wanted to see if we could make a bread pudding out of a pot pie. Well, let me tell you this little secret. When I was on hard times, and I mean really on hard times, I learned to cook many dishes, savoury and sweet bread puddings. Many. I lived on bread pudding. So this is my version of a chicken pot pie bread pudding. Let's get on and do it. On here I've got some garlic, and we're just going to give it the usual mincing over. Big or as small as you like. You know the drill on this channel. Nice and straightforward. That'll do for me. In there, one side. So we want some little cubes of carrot. Now, it's the usual ingredients that you would find in a pot pie, but we're making it into the pudding, obviously. So we're just going to dice up some carrots, some onion, a little bit of celery. We're going to chuck in some frozen peas, and that will be the basis of our pot pie. It's really straightforward. So that's our carrot. Get your carrot in a tub. In there. Now, as you saw, that was about half a large carrot. We've got some frozen peas already there, look. Onion on there. Onion, it's just a little bit of a dice on there. Big or as small as you like. You can go fine dice, you can go big chunks, whatever you want to see in your pudding. Nice and straightforward. Onion back in that bowl. A couple of bits of celery. There's always celery in a pot pie. If you don't like any ingredients, change them out as per usual. Big as small as you like. In a tub. So there you go, that's our veggies done. Now we've got a couple of eggs in here, look. Well, there's 3 eggs actually. Give them a little beating up, and then they'll be ready to go. I'm going to chuck in a little bit of milk with that actually. In fact, we can do that now. Put a little splash of milk in. That's going to be a custard. Job done. Our bread. Day old, any old bread, up to you. And it's just a case of breaking it up. Now I'm going to make this in a bowl, but you could actually make it straight in a 9x13 dish. But you know, I want this to soak up my fluid. So I'm going to make it in a bowl, and I'm going to transfer it to a 9x13 dish. I've got shredded chicken, leftover chicken, just pulled apart, and that's what we're going to use. Now you can cube it, you can do whatever you want, but we're using leftover. This is like a big leftover dinner if you like. So it's a pan on nice and gently, and you can go butter, oil, just butter. I'm going to mix butter and oil. In there, carrots, little stir fry on that. Start the carrots off first. Obviously they're a harder veg. Little bit of salt, not much. Bring out the moisture of the carrots. So give that about a minute, no more actually. In there, celery. In there, onions. Nice and gentle simmery cook on there. Just take out the rawness of the onion, and that veg is going to soften at the same time. And then we're going to chuck our garlic in. In there, shake of black pepper. I like to get my seasoning in now. Keep blooms in there with the veg. Perfect. So we got a nice little bit of a sizzle whizzle going on there. In there, our garlic. It does not matter if you colour any of this, it's going inside the bread pudding. So a little bit of colour ain't going to do us any harm. In there with some dried thyme. As much seasoning as you like. I get it in now, it blooms up in there with the veg. In there, a couple of tablespoons, and they're good tablespoons as well, as you can see, of flour, and cook that out in there with that veg. In there, our chicken stock. Nice and steady on this. Bring that in, it'll start to thicken up. Now we want it reasonably thick, but we need a fluid. We're making a bread pudding. You could take this really thick, which is not going to do us any favours because the bread isn't going to soak it up. You can go in there with our milk. That's going to give us that nice chicken pot pie creaminess. And obviously you can go in with cream. So let that have a little minute to play together and all join up in there. Just stir in our chicken. Now that looks like chicken pot pie, but there's no peas. So just let that have a second in there. Stir in your peas. Now we're going to cheesy this up. We're going in here with some mozzarella, and we're going to put mozzarella on the top. We just want to get a nice stringy cheesy flavour going through there. Now we know mozzarella's not really cheesy, but it's going to give us that creaminess, that cheesy creaminess that mozzarella brings. That's going in there. We're going to stick it all together, isn't it? It's going to be absolutely delicious. There's some gooiness going on there, look at that. That's what we're wanting. Make sure your oven's on 180, thereabouts. You don't even have to bring it to a boil or anything. That's all in there, everything's cooked, so it's done. All we need to do now is assemble. Come on, take our bowl of bread. Now we're going to tip all that in there. We want that bread to soak that up. So we're going to get it in, we're going to give it a stir. So bring it in and let that bread soak up that chicken pot pie goodness. Now we're going to give this a good 10 minutes to soak up, and we're just going to give it a little gentle stir over. Look at that. That looks superb. Okay, what we need to be doing, this is what I do, okay? You can tip the custard over the top and let it soak in if you want. But I'm going to put about half the custard, the egg and that milk in there. That's going to give us a richness inside. And then we're going to pour the rest over the top, which is going to set over the top like a pot pie crust. So there you go. That wants to go in our dish. Dumping it in there. Now don't squash it. Sort of guide it in, but leave it all roughed up. We want the egg and the cheese and everything to find its own way through there. So just rough it a little bit. We want some crevices, nooks and crannies. Come on. And we just want that little bit of egg custard going on there and soaking down and going wherever it feels like. It doesn't matter. And then we want to be going on the top of there with some mozzarella. Now, what we're going to do is cover this with foil. We're going to bake it for 25 minutes and then we're going to take the foil off. Let's just loosen that so that drops in there. Because if not, it is going to bubble over and we want a custard to stick together inside. So just let it drop down like that. That'll do. That's nice and easy. And then you take your foil and you make a loose tent. We need it to steam up inside. Right, that goes in the oven. 25 minutes. Okay, when you've had your 25 minutes, we want to be taking that foil off there. Oh, look at that. Oh, it smells delicious. Come on, we need to get that back in the oven for another 20 minutes. Now that is what I call a savoury bread pudding. Look at that. Chicken pot pie bread pudding. It looks like a pot pie. Oh, we're going to come in here. Come on. And we want this juicy corner. Of course we do. As per usual. That is sensational. Oh, come on. On there. That is absolutely incredible. We are in. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's just so moist. It's cheesy. Oh, oh yeah. Oh, that is delicious. Oh yeah. That really is delicious. That really is red hot. Mmm. Mmm. That is so moist. That really is moist. It's not running of sauce like you would get in a pot pie. But obviously it's a bread pudding. That is really, really moist. That is delicious. Tastes just like a pot pie. Oh yeah. If you want more fluid, put more fluid in. If you want it to run out, but you're going to get really soggy and not nice bread. There you go. If you like what we're doing, don't forget, share with your friends. Tell them how easy it is to make chicken pot pie bread pudding. And if you do like what we're doing, big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. We'll catch you in the next video. Oh yeah.